Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share a card created with the Gingerbread Man Bundle, which is in Stampin' Up September through December 2025 mini catalog. Product in this mini catalog is available September 3rd through January 5th. And then I'm also going to be showing a product that's part of the September online exclusives, which is available September 3rd. Along with the Gingerbread Man Bundle, I am using some additional product that's in this mini catalog. So let's talk about the bundle. The bundle is the stamp set and the dies bundled for 10% savings, or you can purchase them separately. The stamp set has 15 stamped images. You have these sentiments along with these different images that will help you build a gingerbread man, along with the outline of the gingerbread man. The dies, there are 18 dies. One is a die that's going to create this card. It cuts out both of these at the very same time. And then it has a scoring for the right where to fold that card. So that's going to be very creative. There's 4 different facial expressions to cut out for your gingerbread man face, along with the different stamps that you can do. This card, I'm going to be using the candy pieces, not the gingerbread man. There's so much versatility with this. As I mentioned, it is part of a bundle with the stamp set, and I'm going to be using this sentiment that says sugar and spice and everything nice. So let's get started with the card. I do have all of the dies here, and I mentioned I'm going to be using the candy piece dies for this card. So I'm going to keep that just sitting here because I'll reference that. So my card base is basic white. I've already cut that to size. It is 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, folded it in half, and it's going to open in this fashion. The first layer for my card is going to be basic white, and I've cut this just 1/8 of an inch smaller in length and height. And I use this embossing folder that is also in the mini catalog. It is called the Peaceful Greenery 3D embossing folder. To save some video time, I did this ahead of time. I placed my cardstock in here, closed it, ran it through my die and my stamp and emboss machine. And then I got this beautiful texture. So that's going to be the first layer for the card. So I'm going to use my stamp and seal and put my adhesive on this layer. And this is going to be right in the center. Whoops, there's about a 1/16 of an inch border. I'm going to try to visually see both or opposite corners, and then I can see both sides of that corner and then get my placement. So that's going to be the first layer. Some additional product I'm going to be showing or using for this card that's in the mini catalog is the dies from the Branching Out bundle. So I have the stamp set here and the dies, and these are bundled for 10% savings, or you can purchase them separately. What I love about these dies, you get these decorative images, plus you get 2, 4, 6 different layered images here. So I am going to use a couple of these, and the reason I'm using this die is because I am using the stamped image and I want to cut out that stamped image. So I'm going to bring that in because I did that ahead of time. I stamped that sentiment, I cut it out with this die because it fit perfect. And then I cut the next larger die with cherry cobbler. I did save some video time. I did all of that ahead of time, and I have some dimensionals on the back. But before I move on with this, I do want to share, I have tried various different ways to store my dies. And a long time ago, I used to, when you receive your dies and they're on that white cardboard with that really strong tape, I turned them over on my copy machine and made a copy of it. So then I get a photocopy of how they were. Then I tape that copy paper image onto cardboard. And then in this case, I just put a couple strips of magnets across because I didn't need a full sheet. Then I can place these down, and it's a great reminder. If you haven't got all your dies on here, you can go ahead and you got a missing one. So I hope that all makes sense. So I just wanted to share that with you because I have that in the camera, and I want to give you all the tips on how to do this. And as I mentioned, I've tried various ways of storing my dies, and I have no set rule on how I do it, but I did that this way for this set. And then for this set, I just used a large magnet sheet because there's so many different pieces on this one. So just some ideas on how to store your dies. So, all right, we're talking about our card though. So let's go back to our card. So now that's how I got this. I put some dimensionals on the back, and what I did was I just used my outside pieces because they're still as good as the inside pieces. So I'm going to take the backings off. Now this embossing folder does have some dies that work beautifully for this embossing folder. They are part of this Peaceful Garden suite, and they fit this perfect, but it did not fit the sentiment. So that's why I chose a different set of dies. So these branching out dies are going to be some of my go-to dies for lots of my projects going forward. So even though it doesn't match this, I'm going to cover that image up. So I'm going to look for equal spacing on both sides. And when I put this down, you're not going to see that image that's underneath, but I just love that detail you get with the card. So that's what I have for the card base. So let's talk about the candy pieces. So I have, I'm going to bring this back in. I told you I was going to leave it here, then I moved it because I want to help you understand how all these dies work. So for the candy pieces, I'm going to cut them out of some velvet paper. This velvet paper is the all season velvet paper. It's 12 by 12. I just have a 3-inch section here. It's in the September online exclusives, and you get 2 of each of the colors, cherry cobbler, white, and I believe they call this out to be mossy meadow. And so I have all 3 pieces, and what I'm going to do is put adhesive sheet on the back of the velveteen paper before I cut it out, because if I do that, then it's easier to assemble my pieces. The adhesive sheets are sold in the annual catalog. You get 12 sheets. They're 6 inches by 12. I have already cut one of my adhesive sheets the very same size as my velvet paper. And what I'm going to do is grab my Simply Scoring tool for the corner. How I use my adhesive sheets, I'm going to take my velveteen paper and turn it upside down and put it in the corner. I'm going to take one section of this backing paper off, and it's sticky here, the backing paper's still there. I'm going to turn this upside down, adhesive is here, the sticky part. I'm going to put this in the corner and put that down. That adhered that section. Then I can peel this off, and let's see how well I can do that. There we go. Peel that off, put that down. Now I have adhesive sheet on the back of this velvet paper, and anything I cut out will have adhesive on the back. Just peel the backing off and you're ready to go. Absolutely love the adhesive sheets. So I did that for all 3 colors. And then what I did for the cherry cobbler is I cut out the candy canes. You get both the detailed image and the outline image. I cut out the lollipop die. You get both pieces. And then I cut out one of these for the gumdrops. And then I cut out one of these swirls. So I did all of that work ahead of time. And this is what I got as a result, all of these pieces right here. So I did that for the cherry cobbler. For the green, I'll go grab that one first. I only did this swirl piece and the gumdrops. So I did that ahead of time. For the white, I did the very same thing as I did for the red. I did the candy cane, the lollipop, and the gumdrops, but I did not do that one. I didn't need that one. Now, the only piece I'm missing yet is the candy wrappers. Now this, my first card, I used white, but then I wanted a little pizzazz to this. So I used the Glimmer paper that is in the mini catalog. This is part of the Peaceful Garden suite, and it is the Peaceful Garden Glimmer paper. I think I might have the suite name wrong, but it's in the mini catalog, and I used the silver, and I cut out these two dies, so my candy wrappers had a little bit of glimmer. So I did all of that to save time. I do not have adhesive sheet on the back of the Glimmer paper because of the way I'm going to assemble my card. So hopefully that all made sense. Even though I did some work ahead of time, I did want to share so you had all the details and knew how I did that, so you can duplicate this card if you choose. And the beauty of card creating is you can duplicate what I'm sharing, or it can be an inspiration to create your own design. So I'm going to bring my silicone craft mat in. I take your pick tool, my bone folder, and we're going to start by assembling the candy pieces. Now when you cut out the real red, you're going to get the solid and the stripes image, or out of the red cherry cobbler. And when you cut out the white, you're going to get the same. So you're going to adhere these two together, and then you're going to adhere these two together. So then you have just the reverse of each. The beauty of this with the adhesive sheets, all you have to do is peel this backing off. And then what you have to do, and I find I like holding it in my hand and using my fingers to help me get the placement right. Or you can place it down on your silicone craft mat. So that is getting me those two adhered. It is very important to burnish this. You need to burnish that so your adhesive bonds. If you just place them and don't burnish them, there's a chance they're going to fall off. A slight chance, but it's very important to burnish that. So you're going to create one with that fashion, and then do the same thing for this one. So then you peel that backing off, adhere these two together, and I like using my fingers to get that. You can line them up on the table or your silicone craft mat. Burnish those, and it looks like it slipped a little bit. But we're going to just keep going, and a little imperfection may not be noticed. It just adds character to your card. There you go. Okay, for the lollipops, you got a decision to make. You're going to get the two different colors here. Now, when you take this apart, you can put it on like this, or you can put this on. And I've been putting this piece on. But you know what? It's not going to matter either way. It's not a bad decision. So I'm going to just do what I've done before, and I put those two on. Again, there's adhesive sheet behind this, which makes it much easier to adhere. And the only trick is getting that backing paper off. And sometimes it goes smoothly. Here we go. There we go. And take that backing off. Now, if you choose this one, it's going to have a little bit of a border around all the edges. If you choose this one, it's going to line up evenly. And either one's going to work. You just need to decide. And then whichever one you don't use, you have for a different project. Or you can just cut out this one portion of that lollipop die. Again, once you do that, it's very important to put some pressure down and burnish these onto the velveteen paper. Even if you're using cardstock, be sure to burnish that. So now we have those two are extra, and gumdrops are good on their own, but then we have the candy wrappers here. And I did one of these dies in the red, the cherry cobbler. And I found how I like to put this, not that it makes a difference, is I place this just on the edge, or let me put it down first. They line up. How can I explain this? I like this piece here to be partially in that wrapper part. And I'm gonna just, it's not a, if I put it in like that, I guess that even looks nice. You know what? It doesn't matter where you place it. I guess I've been consistently placing it the same way, and sometimes you need to do it a different way just to see what your preference is, but there's no wrong way. And these line up to match the circle size on the candy wrapper. And again, it's very important to burnish these. If you don't burnish them, they may reposition. There we go. So we've got the candy assembled. Okay, and we got our card base already. So let me show you how I assembled these. Now with these being 2 sets, I'm only using 1 set. I'm going to save the white outside and the red candy. I'm going to have those go together and those go together just so they kind of complement each other. And I'm also going to need some mini dimensionals because like for example, this candy cane is going to be adhered here, and there's adhesive sheet behind it to adhere to the card stock or the label, but this part of the candy cane is going to hang over. So I want to make sure I put dimensionals behind that. So I'm going to peel the backing off. I'm going to take a mini dimensional because then I don't have to cut a full one in half, and put 2 of them just on the end and the arc of the candy cane. Peel the backings off, and I'm going to position this first piece of candy right here. Again, burnish that so it adheres, and that's going to be the first one I put down. I'm going to take this one and place on the other side. Now it's going to hang over a little bit on the edge, so I'm also going to put a mini dimensional. I misspeak on that all the time. I call a mini glue dot a mini dimensional and vice versa. So I'm going to put my mini dimensional on this side, just one of them, because just that little piece is going to hang over. And I'm going to put this right here. And once I place that down, again, burnish that so it bonds to that cardstock. Now for the next pieces I'm going to put on are going to be the gingerbread pieces. So I'm going to start out by putting the red. So let me share what you have. We have 3 colors, large and small. I'm going to start out by the large red. Take the backing off. Works great having this adhesive sheet on the back. I'm going to place this one about right here. I'm going to take the large green one, and I'm going to place it below, overlapping, and a little bit to the left. And that's if I can get the backing paper off. Let's see, there we go. I'm going to put it a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to take the small white one and stack that one right close by, overlapping a little bit, just like that. So those 3 are stacked together there. I'm going to burnish those. Then I'm going to put the large white one down next. I kind of like to put the larger ones in the background and the smaller ones in the foreground. I'm going to place that one right here. Burnish that. I'm going to take the red one and take the backing off. Takes more time to take the backing off, I think. There we go. All right, I'm going to take that one. That one's going to go right here. And then the last gumdrop is the green one. And sometimes I think if I take a corner, it works better here. Let's see. All right, this corner. Will this corner be easy? There we go. All right. I'm going to stack that right there. All right, so we got that all on there. Now we got these 2 pieces. Now I'm going to put the green over here, and I'm going to just put that flat on there, meaning no dimensionals. And as I mentioned, there's no adhesive sheet behind it. So I'm just going to take some of my tear and tape and run 1 strip of tear and tape. Beauty of tear and tape, you can tear it or you can cut it. So I've just tore that. I have 1 strip. So I have the strong adhesive on there, and I'm going to have this overlap like so. I also want to burnish that down. And then for this last one, what did I do with my regular dimensionals? I thought I had them here. And okay, I know I had them here. So let me see. Oh, I moved them over here. So we have regular dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 of them. I'm going to take 2 side by side and place on the back of that candy wrapper. Take the backings off. And this candy wrapper is going to go right here. And then if you want to, you can add a little bit more bling. And I have the rhinestone basic jewels here. And I'm going to take my putty, take your pick tool, and I'm going to add a little bit more sparkle right in this opening and put some small rhinestones. And that is my card using the Gingerbread Bundle for the candy pieces. And I think that's going to be a nice card to send to family and friends. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Again, many of the products is going to be available September 3rd. And I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and reach out if you have any questions. Take care and happy creating.